Today, you can point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Oh, one thing about King Malcolm X is many of his words still rang true. And with that being said, the Democrats are back out here again and using our own, by the way. You know, the
Today, you can point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole. Today, you can point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Oh, one thing about King Malcolm X is many of his words still rang true. And with that being said, the Democrats are back out here again and using our own, by the way. You know, the desperation is real and so is the delusion. Take a look.
Black America. Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans. It is an honor to inherit the privilege of carrying this bill forward. From Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. In my last correspondence with her, she said, "Keep working on our priorities and never give up." She was the previous House sponsor of H.R. 40 and a true giant in the movement for reparative justice. We are grateful for her leadership. We are grateful for her example and her voice. May she rest in peace and power. And we are grateful to be joined here today by her daughter, former Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter, who today, when I thanked her for braving the elements to journey here, said, "True justice is never convenient." I want to acknowledge some of our partners in good trouble in this fight. Senator Cory Booker, our co-lead in the Senate, Chairwoman Yvette Clarke of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congresswoman Latifah Simon, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and the more than 70 members of Congress who have signed on to co-sponsor the legislation that was first introduced. And I want to make this point because it is Black History Month. And while there are those that are working actively, either to erase our history or to whitewash it, that I'm here in this moment to pick up the mantle of this historic legislation that has been championed by John Conyers, Congressman John Conyers, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. That was introduced more than 30 years ago when Congressman John Conyers was a co-founder of the Congressional Black Caucus. We're at a critical inflection point in America, and the moment cannot be more urgent. With Black history under attack and white supremacy emboldened, there is no better time to introduce this bill than during Black History Month, a time when we reflect on our history, our struggle, and our collective power. And I'll say, it is also not only about Black history, but it is about Black futures. More than 4 centuries ago, Africans were kidnapped, trafficked, and enslaved, forced to build this country under horrific brutality, an economy which we still benefit from today. Rice, sugar, tobacco, cotton. And even after the Civil War, emancipation, and the 13th Amendment, the legacy of slavery endured in other forms, codified in law to deny black Americans freedom, opportunity, and dignity. And that's what brings us here today. This brutality, these injustices, these horrors were not things just happened within the culture by osmosis. They were legislated. Today, with Donald Trump and Republicans waging their coordinated and at times unlawful assault on black folks and black history, we will not allow that history to be erased. We will not allow it to be whitewashed. H.R. 40 is a powerful reminder of the work that remains and offers us a pathway toward truth, reconciliation, and accountability. To be clear, this bill is not a symbolic gesture, but rather a meaningful step toward repairing the deep structural injustices that continue to harm black communities today. The racial wealth gap in America is not an...
Let me just try to keep it together, okay? Because I could easily just go off at this point. And I mean, see, this is exactly why people are losing faith in the Democrats. Many have already lost faith, and many don't even take them serious. And you know what? This is why they're in shambles. Every time they're in trouble, they roll out the token blackface to speak for them, as well as H.R. 40, a study. I mean, how much more studying do we need? Because they didn't need studies for Ukraine. They didn't need studies for illegals. They didn't need study for LGBTQ. But when it comes to us, it's always something. It's always something that we got to figure out. You know, even with the Tulsa victims, a little off topic here. But I sit and I see how they make these people who are in their hundreds just go through everything. I mean, just take them through court, be approved for court, just everything. Only to tell them no. When they always use the phrase, well, nobody's alive. Well, they are, and they held on. But again, so much money for illegals and Ukraine and everybody else. And you know what? Before people start coming for me, Democrats and Republicans are the same. Even King Malcolm X himself warned us about this decades ago. They are still two sides of the same coin. Meanwhile, they got black people, or some black people, brainwashed to stop talking to their family, friends, or fall out with a spouse or a lover because of how they vote. And let's be real. This bill ain't going nowhere, and they know it's not going to go anywhere. They know the Republicans won't pass it. They have the majority now. But the thing is, they also had the opportunity to pass these bills under, let's see, Biden. Because, we ain't black if we didn't vote for him, remember?